Hi, everybody.
Hello there.
I'm Jerry.
And I'm Linda, and this is Gizmo.
We're the Village's Newcomers. Today we have a long show for you, but before we even get started, we got to fess up a little bit. We have been homebound because we contracted COVID.
Yeah.
We're feeling better. We're still not perfect. You can see, maybe we look weird. I don't know. We are still recuperating. We're on the mend, though.
Yeah. On our first day, our second day of COVID, he sounded like Barry White. Do y'all remember Barry White? You sound really low.
Can't get enough of you. She made me a meatloaf.
Yeah,
Even in the condition she was in, she made that candy meatloaf.
I did.
It was like the sun started shining again. And yesterday, it was a nice day, and I actually got to walk outside a little bit, and it's all good. We had a mild case because we were both vaccinated. It makes you feel like you've gone 10 rounds with Mike Tyson. We'll probably do a little show on that and tell you about all our experience. Mm-hmm. But today we have a show, and we're going to talk about hurricanes a little bit. We moved to the Villages as opposed to the Gulf or the Atlantic because of the safety factor. That's where those people come. They come here to be safe. Is it really safe? Well, we're going to show you, and you can decide for yourself.
We're also going to talk about theft awareness in your golf carts.
And some amazing opportunities we've been offered. They're not really amazing. I'm going to spill the beans on that. We get swindle offers every once in a while, and this was just so funny I had to share it with you.
Mm-hmm. We're also going to talk about a coincidence or a miracle rock.
And one lady has something happened where she may have to take custody of underage children.
Oh.
She wants to know, can they come and live with her here in the Villages? Wow. And we'll talk about that. Well, you're going to see all that and more on today's episode of
Send us your questions, we've got your answers. Jerry and Linda's Mailbag Monday.
Let's get right to our shout-outs. Our first one is Mark and Cindy Thompson sent us this. I cannot do justice to that from back there. I'm going to have to get it.
Oh.
This is a walnut cutting board that he crafted with maple inlay in the form of our logo. How awesome is that? It's one of the nicest, most beautiful woodworking projects that I have ever seen in my life. He knew I was a woodworker. I could not come close to this quality. It is heavy, it's big, we absolutely love it.
It's got legs on the back, little things to let them stand on the counter.
And look at this, he crafted this stand for it. That's a work of art.
Isn't that amazing?
By itself. So thank you, Mark and Cindy. We will treasure that.
We really will.
He told us how to treat it, to cut meat on it and such. We're not going to be cutting on that one. No way.
It may be our backdrop from now on, though. It's pretty amazing. Rich and Patty from Missouri are touring the West in their motorhome and will move to the Villages this April. That's exciting.
Jim, Nancy, and Xander are from Kansas, and they're excited to be moving to the Villages.
Here's Dale and Kelly from Henderson, North Carolina.
Hendersonville.
Oopsie.
Evelyn's buddy Peaches. He loves to watch Gizmo, she said.
And David and Faye from Beamsville, Ohio. I cannot pronounce my cities today.
They're not, that's not a common word.
Beamsville.
We bumped into Bill and Georgie Heights. We were playing golf, and these people just yelled at us from a swimming pool.
Yes, we were on the 8th hole.
Yeah, we were over at Mangrove,
Yeah.
and we pulled over and talked to them. It's a lovely couple.
And this is Frank and Lydia's pup Teddy, all the way out in California.
Valerie sent this adorable pic of Squirt and Jersey Boy.
Squirt. That's a cute name.
It's a terrible name for a dog. If I had a dog named Squirt, I would put him up for adoption.
And Jim and Vicky brought us a pot from Colorado. Oh, can you see this? Oh, I'll show you. This is a little pot from Colorado. A little pot. Get it?
Good job. We've had several questions this week about weather and about the severe weather situation here in the villages. And we're going to get to that in just a moment. But first, I want to talk about that swindler that I told you about, the opportunity. We get opportunities in emails almost every day. We got 2 this week that were particularly funny. I'm going to show you a slide of one right here while I read it. Check out this guy. Hi there. I, a agent of company, and we would like to junction with gifted humanity like you. Gifted humanity, like me.
I like to be called gifted humanity.
And single-minded, you have been germinative. Oh, I have been germinative.
I've been germinated.
We are very glad that you do not stop and continue to develop your channel. Our company is known in 18-town, and we want to integrate a 35-second video. Please check out our materials and write to us at video link, blah, blah, blah. We also recommend using a notebook computer or computerized. Thank you for your understanding. We will wait for your feedback. Does that sound like too good to be true? That's an opportunity there. And being germinative as I am and gifted humanity that I am, I'm looking for.
They got that.
Yeah. And the other one this week, very similar. Welcome you, ambassador of company, and we are renowned throughout Europe and several states of us. And we want to cooperate with interesting people with a continuous audience. I think you are refined for us. We want to unify our videos or making a videos review of our products. Blah, blah, blah. And we get those. And we also get offers every single day to endorse products. And we never know which ones are legit, so we stay away from them unless we're absolutely sure, not only that it's legit, that it's something that you guys would like and use. Mm-hmm. Speaking of hurricanes, our 2 questions this week. Love your channel, as it has been a great insight into the life in the villages. Can you tell me how many times you've had to bug out due to a pending hurricane? Does it command a lot of concern during the extended hurricane season? We've been here 3 years, so therefore we've been here for 3 hurricane seasons.
Yes, and we did bug out the first year.
We left one time. We got scared. And
oh, yeah, they were saying it was a level 5.
yeah, it was going to be a doozy.
Level? They call it level? What do they call that?
Category.
Category 5. And then it went down to 3, 4, then 3, and then it ended up not. So we got on a plane and went to visit our son, and
it missed. It didn't come.
It missed, but we had a great time. And
I'll tell you what we had a great time doing.
What?
Catching lizards after we brought our gas grill in the house, and it was in here for a week, almost a week, and we came back. There were dozens of lizards running around our house. They'd been inside that gas grill.
Oh,
That's where they took shelter.
Yeah.
And we caught them, and with the help of Gizmo, we caught them and we rehomed them. I would never kill. No, never.
I don't like to
now
squish anything.
Gizmo would. He would kill it and eat it if he could catch it. So that's Dave and Gail sent that letter. Just the one time.
Yeah, there is concern about getting your water, make sure you have water and that kind of thing. So you do want to get that, your toilet paper and water and some food, but
we don't need any toilet paper. And we're going to feature, and we've told you this before, our super toilet in a future video. You don't need any toilet paper. You don't need it. No. And it's great during COVID. John sent us a super informative letter with accompanying photographs. He says, regarding your recent video on choosing wood versus block and stucco homes, here are a few choice picks of homes that were in the way of a tornado that came through the villages in early 2007.
Wow.
My in-laws lived here. I don't recall the exact village, but it's visual interest for sure. And he sent me these, and not only did he send them, he sent a list of what each of the pictures depicts, so we can see here. The first picture, if you can see that, it looks just like they're building a new neighborhood.
Yeah.
If you went down to Citrus Grove or Richmond or some of these other places where homes are being built, this is what they look like. They have blue plastic on the roof, and then they'll put the shingles on those. Well, that tornado removed the shingles. These are existing homes that people live in, and it looks like new construction. Wow. The tornado was about 2 homes wide. So that's not too wide. It's about 100 feet wide, maybe a little more.
Yeah.
That's the zone where there was serious damage.
Yeah.
And it says that, notice that there are clothes still hanging in the master bedroom closet, unscathed.
That is crazy.
I've always wondered about that, how a hurricane can demolish one house or even part of a house and the rest of the house is okay.
Yeah, and pick up a car, turn it upside down, and the next neighbor's car is just sitting there.
Yeah.
You know, wow.
You can see these other pictures are more of the same. The fourth picture is his favorite. The stucco homes were damaged. This one shows an asphalt shingle that went in like a tomahawk into a column. Crazy.
The force of the wind. Mm-hmm.
And this mighty old tree. Look at it now. You don't want to mess with Mother Nature. Or for this picture, he's labeled it cleanup on aisle 5. There would have been some serious cleanup to be done. And I guess that takes a while because you can't clean everybody up at the same time.
Yeah.
You'd need dump trucks and dumpsters and lots of crews to clean up a mess like that. John, thank you for sending that in. He says, as he recalls, the tornado went up and down, skipping over homes, but from a hilltop vantage point, you could see the path that it took. If one home was dead center, it was torn apart. 2 homes left and right of center were missing lots of shingles and things, and gutters ripped off, bushes torn apart, and that's why he said it was 2 homes wide. Homes beyond those, largely untouched.
I can't
Maybe
even
a few
imagine.
shingles.
Can't even imagine the sound it would make. They tell us like it's like a train coming through.
He said that's a skinny tornado. He's from Iowa, so that's nothing new for him. Thank you. That was so nice to see those pictures. I don't know if it's nice or not. I mean, it definitely makes you
eye-opening.
leery. Indiana, tornado. Not like Kansas and Iowa and out there in the Midwest, but we had Henryville, Indiana, very close to us, was struck a few years ago, and a school was demolished
Yes,
by a tornado.
our nephew Kyle was teaching, and he got the kids out, but man, his room was gone.
It was devastated that community, and they did end up getting a new school. But it's a terrible thing. Mother Nature's powerful. We promised you a decision of whether a coincidence or miracle. We got this letter, and we're not going to identify the sender.
I lost my beautiful wife, Annie, 4 years ago, and it's been tough. Every year I go from Bell, Florida, where I live, to my brother's house in Buffalo for a family reunion in July. It's hard traveling alone. I really miss her and have too much time driving to think about it. Last year I was driving, feeling sorry for myself, and pulled off to get gas in Pennsylvania. After gassing up, they had picnic tables, so I decided to eat my lunch that I brought. And on the table was a painted rock that said, "You are not alone." And there was a pink flower on it. Annie loved pink carnations. Well, this old man started leaking tears of joy like I've never felt before. Made me feel so much better. Drove the rest of the way with a big grin on my face.
Yeah, nice story.
What a very nice story.
And we thought that was pertinent because we told you about rock painting last week. And in fact, right now, if you could see in our lanai, we have a table covered with rock. We're getting ready to paint some rocks. And we're going to scatter them around the community. And maybe you can find a Jerry and Linda rock out there one day. Martin writes, there is too much noise in the villages. How do you get used to it? You're from a farm, right?
Yeah, I kind of disagree with that. When I come out at night, it is just peaceful. There is not a sound.
Now, you called me to the door last night. because you told me what?
What?
You said listen to those crickets.
Oh, well, because I hadn't heard them for a long time. And what happened later last night?
Oh, I don't want to talk about that.
A truck came by doing the insecticides and stuff. So, yeah, last night before the truck came, I heard a lot of crickets or whatever, bug noises, and I loved that. I thought, oh, that sounds like back home.
I will play this little video I videoed that of the truck going by so you can see what the mosquito truck sounds like.
Yeah. But I don't think there's too much noise, unless you live right beside the square.
Well, listen, there are places where the noise is horrendous.
Oh, by the highway.
By the turnpike.
Yeah.
Or it could be by Morse Boulevard or by Buena Vista. That was another one of the questions. The next question says, if you live in a courtyard villa with the private enclosed courtyard right by a major road like Buena Vista or Morse Boulevard, what's the traffic noise like if you like to spend a lot of time on your lanai? I called a friend who lives in a courtyard villa that backs up to Buena Vista, and he said no problem at all. But I think sometimes it's probably like that frog that sits in the beaker of water, and you turn on the heat, and they don't notice it when it goes up, and they end up boiling.
How many people do you know boil a frog?
Well, they're good. But
Anyway.
you get used to it. You get used to anything. If you live by train tracks, the first night you live there, you're going crazy.
Yes.
The second night, you're still going crazy. But a year later, you're like, what train?
Yeah, we visited his cousin in New York, and they had their windows open, which they didn't ever shut very often, and the air conditioning wasn't working, or whatever. So we had the windows open, and we could hear horns honking and sirens, and it was a sleepless night. But they're used to it. His cousins they don't hear it.
42nd Street, that's where they live. And it was right here. You could see Times Square from the window.
Oh, yeah.
I loved it. I mean, it was fantastic. It's a little noisy.
It was different for us.
So here, the turnpike's loud, and people down in DeLuna and in some parts of Marsh Bend, we visit down there, and in some parts of the house, you don't hear a peep. Front porch, maybe you hear it. Back porch, maybe you don't hear it. A windy day when the wind's blowing away from you, you probably don't hear it. When it's blowing toward you, you hear it. It's all going to take some getting used to down here. Everything takes getting used to down here. You got to get used to the heat. You got to get used to the humidity. You got to get used to Gladys Kravitz looking out her window to see what you're doing next door.
No, I'm not that way.
You got to get used to a lot of things, and the sound is one of them. But we got so lucky. Yeah. We bought it sight unseen, the quietest, best situation, and we're so thankful for that.
Very blessed.
Don't worry about the noise. But also, if you know that you'll be miserable, you got to come check it out, and don't just come one time in the morning and say, "Oh, it's nice." Come in the evening.
Yes.
Make surprise visits over there. Multiple visits can ease your mind, or it may prevent you from a disaster. We knew people that reserved lots and were ready to build. When they actually got out there and looked at that lot, they said, no. So they took that option that the Villages offers. I think you can trade one time, and without losing significant amounts of cash. Robin from Minnesota. Minnesota.
Lots of Minnesotans.
They really want to get out of that place, don't they? Do you drop your golf clubs off at home between a golf game and doing another errand? If not, how do you keep your clubs safe on the back of your cart? Thanks, Robin from Minnesota. Robin, the best preventative measure from anybody stealing your clubs is to have clubs like I have that nobody wants. Buy some junky golf clubs. You know they're not going to make a difference in your game anyway, unless you're really a good golfer.
Yeah.
Just don't buy the brand new top-of-the-line golf clubs.
Yeah.
But if you have those, they make a cover that you can put over your golf clubs, and it won't secure them, but it hides them, so they won't know what you have under there.
Yes, and you could use a bungee cord, or you can even lock your golf bag to your cart.
We have a friend, and he's a genius. He got one of those little alarms, and he hooked it up to his golf bag. If that bag is ever removed, that alarm will sound, and it will, like, it's deafening.
Awesome! The girls went out to lunch the other day to one of the country clubs, and when we had our golf clubs, we just finished golfing, so we kind of put the little cover over
sunbrella.
Umbrella over the top, just another added protection. So they could.
Yeah, they would have to lift it to kind of see what you have.
See what you had, and also, but I would feel better if I had a lock around mine.
Yeah, a lock would be good. That's not the only issue, though, and don't let me mislead you that it's common. It's not.
No.
It's just that when it happens, oh my gosh, it's publicized.
Yes.
So once every few months, somebody gets their golf club stolen.
I don't even think it's that much.
Well, I mean, it probably is. One other thing to think about is the security of your golf cart. And that same genius friend of ours that I was telling you about that hooked up he's also developed a guard, and we mentioned this a while back, that goes over your brake pedal and locks. And they cannot move your cart.
He should patent that.
It is. It's something you have to consciously depress it, flip it up, depress it, and then put a lock on it, and keeps your cart from being stolen.
Nice.
I mean, honestly, his cart's nobody's going to steal that cart anyway.
Oh, you should not say that. I like his cart.
I'm just kidding you, buddy.
He's going to get you now.
The ignition keys on golf carts are largely the same. They may have changed that. If they didn't, they should.
Yeah.
If, for example, I have a whatever year, I'm not going to tell you because you'll try to find a key. That key will fit a lot of the carts from the year of my cart. And that's not a good idea to
even announce it.
Yeah, the glove boxes are all opened with the same key. So you think you have a lockable glove box, but one key fits a lot of different glove boxes. Design flaw. Yamaha, get with it.
Uh-oh.
Property tax question. Same exact question that we had when we bought this house.
Okay.
You remember the story, and I hope you saw our video. We put it out Saturday morning because we were in no shape to put one out Thursday. We were, like we said, under the weather, and you'll learn more about that later. We have a question regarding property taxes. Specifically, if we were to buy an existing home, we're looking at one now online for about $765,000. We can see the existing owners paid about $6,200 in taxes last year, based upon an assessed valuation of $362,000. If we were to buy a house like this and bought at around the asking price, would the property taxes go way up over what the current owners are paying? We bought this house and paid a lot more money than we wanted to spend. Once we did that, it was public record how much the house sold for, which was way more than the appraised value. So we were concerned, would the house now be taxed on the purchase price or the earlier appraised value? What I did was call the appraiser's office, and that's over on 466A. It's at the county tax collector's office. And they told me that each house is not judged on its own. It's judged on the last 10 comparable houses. So they'll lump those 10 houses together to see an average purchase price and then make the adjustments. So we were not hit at all. I mean, we thought we were going to get crushed because we paid a lot more. It averaged out to be very little. In today's market, who knows? We just heard today that a house that we can see from our front door sold for what?
$998.
$998,000. Does that house have a pool?
Yes.
Okay, it has a pool. That's $1 million. I'll bet you when that house was built, it didn't cost more than $550.
I bet. So.
$550. So when it's assessed, it's going to be judged against the last 10 houses like that. But let me tell you, they're all selling really high. So I expect that tax bill to take a hefty raise. You could call the Sumter County tax collector, and they'll route you to somebody that can give you better answers. Don't ever take our advice on financial matters or tax matters. We'll just tell you what we think.
And this is about scooters. Greetings from Chile, Wisconsin. We were wondering if scooters are allowed there. We never see any in your videos. Thanks from Sunny, Michelle, and Kiki, the kitty. See you when we get there.
We see scooters.
Yes, we do.
They're not allowed on the multimodal trails, I don't think, but they're allowed on the streets just like they are everywhere.
Yeah.
Debbie from Miami says, could you tell us a little bit about your teaching careers? What grades and subjects? How long did you teach for? Did you teach at the same school? What are your philosophical thoughts and feelings about teaching for a career? She lives in Miami. We are both teachers. It's basically all we ever did. We both went to what was once known as a teacher's college, Ball State University. I had degrees in communications and U.S. history and geography, and she had early childhood development. She was kindergarten and first grade early.
Yeah, I'd like to expand on that a little. My grandmother was a teacher and actually went to the same college we went to, and my mother went there too. This was Ball State, Indiana, Muncie, Indiana. And anyway, my grandmother started a preschool in her home. Actually, it was a kindergarten at that time, and that was in 1935. And so she had the neighborhood children come to her house, and then it just grew, kind of like our blog has done. But anyway, she ended up being a very important teacher in New Albany, Indiana. And that carried through to my mother, and she took it over. And then in 1965, the kindergartens went into the schools, and then my mother kept carrying it on. But then I got into it also. So my early love was preschool, kindergarten age children. So I taught that for 33 years, kindergarten and first grade.
Back when we were first dating, she would rope me into, they did advertising by flyers that they would run off on a mimeograph machine.
Right.
You put this toner in there and this little hopper, and you clip your paper on there, and you
Yeah.
and you get the blue
Ink on your hands.
all over your hands. And we'd make 100 of those, and I had to go put them on, knock on people's doors and give them to them, put them under windshield wipers. And
Yeah, then they'd pile these kids in the car, and they'd come to we'd have a driver for the kindergarten, and back in the back of the station wagon, there'd be 20 kids in the back of that station wagon, no seatbelts. This was a long time ago, and they survived.
funny thing, this is in New Albany, Indiana, every notable citizen of New Albany, Indiana, from 1900-ish up to 1970,
Yeah,
went to that kindergarten.
Yeah.
It has a remarkable reputation.
history and
Yeah.
reputation.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I graduated from Ball State. She graduated from Ball State. I didn't get a teaching job right away. I wanted one. I sold life insurance for a year or so. Didn't like that. Then I went to work as a loan officer in a bank for a short time. They didn't like that.
They didn't like that.
Yeah. I wanted to loan money to everybody. They come in and tell me,
Yeah, you can have money.
we need it. I'd say, okay, I believe you. You need it. You're a nice looking couple. There's a real good story behind that, but it's not for this time or place.
Yeah.
And then I got my chance to
Teach.
coach and teach. And I had to take a job teaching special education at a high school 30 minutes away, and I got to be the head baseball coach and assistant football coach, and loved that school and loved that job. But that was a good move for me. And at the same time, she was hired. She got a good job and taught and was a favorite from then on in our community. 5 years later, I took another job at a local high school, and there I coached girls softball, girls golf, boys golf,
Volleyball.
a little bit of this and that there.
Every sport.
And that was teaching social studies, geography, and U.S. history, mostly 7th and 8th grade. I did teach some high school and eventually even taught at Indiana University campus there in New Albany. Mm-hmm. So we've taught a lot. We love teaching. We loved it the day we stopped. We loved it. I felt like I was...
You had your A game on.
I had a really good feeling for teaching then, and I enjoyed it. The administration was talking about taking away insurance benefits to future retirees. We knew we could get the insurance benefits when we retired. We got a 10-year bridge to Medicare, and so we decided to get out. How many other people retired that year?
Oh, there were 80.
80 people.
Yeah, not all of them teachers, but a very big group of teachers.
Yeah.
So we were lucky to retire at
So we retired. We think it's a
55.
great and noble profession. I mean, you guys, you can tell I've got a little bit of a crazy streak in me, and I love to have fun. And, I love to give out rewards. And I would keep a big box of Jolly Ranchers or something on my desk. And if a kid got an answer right, I'd zing a Jolly Rancher at him. And, that's great until you hit one kid in the eye with it or something. And
Break a tooth.
yeah, I mean, and I made jokes that shouldn't be made, just kidding around with the kids. And now they've got these cell phones. Thank God I'm retired.
And now they're wanting to put cameras in the classroom, and parents are getting a lot of control over
Yeah, then we
what
got.
we're teaching.
Then they told us, "Hey, you got a phone in your room? What? A telephone in my classroom? Oh, and that's not all. We want you to put your lesson plans on that phone. A message with all your lesson plans every day. Are you crazy?"
A lot of demands.
So we got out at the right time. We're just. It's a lot easier to teach a new dog a new trick than an old dog a new trick.
That's true.
These kids today are like those frogs I told you about in the boiling water. They think it's normal. Looks like it's that time that everybody dreads.
Oh, the last question.
It's a good question, though. Angie writes this one. I think Angie has something in mind, but we'll listen to her question here. Hypothetically, if I'm a resident of the Villages and I suddenly got custody or guardianship of a child under 19 years old, would I have to move or would there be an allowance? Great question. I can totally see where that could happen. Today, you see more and more grandparents raising their grandchildren.
Do.
That didn't used to be the case so much, but it is now, and it's sad. I mean, it's not sad. I mean, it's just when you're trying to enjoy the last segment of your life, you got to go back to where you were and raise a child.
I wonder if she would have to move to the new parent section that's being built, and then she would have to work for the Villages then?
That's a good question. It's not built yet. There is a section called Oxford Oaks, and that is open to people with families, but it is not reachable by golf cart. No. There are no trails or walkways or paths that connect that. And the new Middleton that's being opened down there, there will be children living there. Whether you could qualify or not, you may have to get a job working for the Villages in some capacity to be able to have your children
Or grandchildren.
or grandchildren go there, and or maybe it's a nephew or niece, who knows. Sorry we couldn't give you a better answer than that, Angie. We don't think it's possible. We have heard that if something like that happens, let's say that you work for a company like Fantastic Sam's. Linda's hairstylist has a child, and Fantastic Sam's pays a lease or rent to the Villages, so their employees are allowed to send their children to the Villages school. If that employee loses that job or quits that job, their children have to withdraw from that school. So it's probably the same sort of situation. It's the time of the program when we turn it over to Gizmo. Now, as you guys know, he's not sitting back here today. We had him up here earlier. He's become quite a pest, and he's whining and scratching at us, and he wants to invade the show a little bit here, so we've put him down. He was actually irritating a few people.
He's in timeout.
So we're trying to bring him in for a little bit and then let him go do his own thing. He's very comfortably laying over there on the sofa right now. But he did do his bit for you today. Let's check it out.
Mike and Peggy have a rescue pup, and they live 16 hours away from the Villages. They're coming for a lifestyle stay, and they asked me. They wrote me a question, and they wanted to know how the trip was when Mom and Dad drove me down here from Indiana. Well, let me tell you, we've only done it one time, and it was crowded in that car. They had jammed something into every little nook and cranny. But I'm little and I curl up real nice, so I got behind Mom in the back seat, and I just rode along, and every couple of hours or so, Mom would have to take a potty break, and she'd get me out, and I'd take one too. They'd put the leash on me, and We visited a couple different places on the way down here. But it was a good ride. I like to ride. You know I like to ride. I love to ride. And it was fun. No problem at all. As far as adjusting to Florida, hoo-wee, baby. What took it so long to get here? One of the things Mom and Dad struggled with when they got to Florida was finding a doctor and finding a dentist. In fact, they still haven't found a dentist. Well, they did find one, and they just made an appointment, but they haven't actually been to him yet. And I heard Mom and Dad talking, and Dad said when they asked when they should come, he asked, Mom, what's a good time to come on for the appointment? And she said, I don't know, what do you think? And Dad says, I'm not sure. And I'm saying, I know when you go. And they said, what? And you go at 2:30. You go to a dentist when you're 2:30. 2:30.
All right, 2:30. Good one, Gizzy. Thursday, we still can't get out. We're not out and about yet, so don't know what your show's going to be on Thursday. It may be another flashback show. And actually today, I'm talking to you back there and here, we are taping the taping of this show, although there's no tape involved. So what are we doing? We're not filming. We're not taping.
We're videoing.
We're videoing. We're taking a show of us doing the show. So maybe we'll put that on and you can see behind the scenes everything that wasn't edited out of this. And we will go from start to finish. And I mean, who would want to sit through that, right? But you can compare one to the other when this one comes out, after this one's out, and the other one's out. You can compare and go from there.
See, well, and then then goes the hard part. Jerry sits in a chair and works on this editing for hours. But he loves it. He really does.
People ask me, how long does it take to produce a video? It depends on the video. This one, from compiling all these papers that we've used, all these questions, all the research, you've got a full day. You've got a full day in that. And then once we're finished here, I'll have to compile all these photographs and all these recordings and blend them all into the video. And we've probably got another 4 to 5 hours, to put into that. So it doesn't happen like that. It's not that easy. But like she said, it's fun. I really enjoy doing it. Most of all, I enjoy the people that we encounter, and it makes it all worthwhile. If you have questions for us, please send them to our email address, villagesnewcomers@gmail.com. If you have snail mail, send it to Post Office Box 888, Fruitland Park, Florida 34731.
Mailbag Monday.
If you liked our video today, please press that like and subscribe button. Until next time.
See you when you get here.